Okay, welcome everyone. I'm glad to be here to present you the last release of Rudder, the 7.0. So I'm Florence, the technical engineer at Rudder. I'm in Rudder since I'm working at Rudder since 4 months now, and I will be presenting the new release with Nicolas, which is I'll let you present yourself, Nicolas.
Hi everybody, I'm Niklas. I'm the Customer Success Manager at Rudder, and I will be helping Florent on the technical parts for the question.
Thank you. So today I will introduce the last release features, as well as what's coming next in Rudder. It's a 30-minute presentation, so it's only a quick overview of what is inside Rudder, release 7.0. But we won't go deep in the technical stuff. But anyway, to start, and we'll share details directly in the documentation. You already have some documentation about 7.0 release online. After this tour, we'll have a small question and answer session where Nicolas will help me for the technical stuff because I'm not so much technical. And we have a tab, question tab in the bottom right corner of your screen normally in Live Store. So you can ask your question directly there. You also have the chat, but please ask your question directly on the question tab. So let's jump in. We'll do a quick reminder of what is Rudder and what we want to do. So we are a French company developing a French software about security and configuration management. We exist since 2011. Our first objective was to automate configuration deployment and audit on thousands of machines. And we have two parts in Rudder. We have the configuration management and the security management. The configuration management is the historical part of what we are doing in Rudder. This is the automation, the deployment and automation of configuration deployment. And we focus on the compliance of configuration to the last security standards. And we give the opportunity to audit constantly all your configuration in Rudder and to control the drift as well. The security management is the new branch on which we are focusing now. It's the vulnerability discovering and management. We want on the security management to ensure the when, the who, the what, and the how. When you will do remediation of breaches you scan, you discovered on your system, on which system you will remediate them, what will be updated, which packages you want to update, and how you will update your system with the patch management policies. Is it a progressive update? Is it a progressive deployment? And the when you can choose for a time slot to deploy your remediation. We want to provide a tool to enforce security with hardening. So Rudder basically is the monitoring and control tower of all your system, which give live feedback on your system status and security. If you want to know more about what we are doing, you can just go on our website or ask us directly. So what's new in Rudder 7.0? So we changed the design. Well, maybe for you it's not a big thing, but we changed all the branding. We went from orange to green and the visual identity. But more than that, we also give a big focus on user experience. That's why we uniform all the pages in Rudder. We want not the customer to be lost again while navigating through the pages of Rudder. That's why we uniform all the pages. And everybody wants the most performing car. So under the scene, you have the beauty of the green, but you also have the engine that is new. you now have a code working on Helm. We went from AngularJS to Helm. Helm for us is more reliable than AngularJS, and AngularJS is not more updated by Google. And as I said, user experience means a lot for us. That's why we improved the after installation onboarding with a configuration Windows display just after you install Rudder. It will ease your first step in Rudder. We also redesigned the Technic Editor. During the development, as I said, we gave a lot of attention to the uniformity of our interface, so we don't want you to be lost again. And that's why, for those who are working on multiple techniques, it could be very overwhelming when you have a lot of techniques in the Technic Editor, because it's difficult to find what you are working on. That's why we bring a hierarchical visualization on the left tab inside the Technic Editor. But in order, you also often need to switch between the menu. If you are working on techniques, for instance, you will have to go to directive to find some parameters, then have to go to the rules to link those directives to a group. So if you didn't save your work when you switch to another menu, then you could lose it before. But now we implement a draft system, so that when you are writing your techniques, it's automatically saved in your draft in the menu. I will show everything to you just after in the GUI. So I think I'm not the only one facing this issue. So now techniques are automatically saved while you're writing them. So you can work on multiple techniques at once. And for the absent-minded like me, it's a game changer. More about the Technic Editor. One of our most expected features was the ability to prevent methods result in compliance scoring. If you want to test the presence of package with package presence, for instance, and use it as a condition to trigger a violation, it could be very overwhelming to control the reporting. Before, you could use the condition, but it was very difficult and not user-friendly. That's why now it's simply possible to deactivate the reporting of a method directly in it. When you go to the Technic Editor, you go inside Technic, then when you choose a method, you can deactivate the reporting for it. And who didn't feel a bit head stuck while writing very complex method? This is another thing we created. It's a block in the Technic Editor. This block feature, it's something you can bring method in. So a block give a better representation of your techniques on their ordering. So you will be able to put a lot of method in a block. For instance, you can you can separate methods for configuration in a block and methods for installation in another block. So it gives a better visualization of all your work in the Technic Editor. And moreover, you also have now the ability to choose the reporting method for a block. You could choose between 3 reporting methods. The first one, I will show in the GUI just after, don't worry. But the first one is the weighted sum of reports. This is the previous behavior. It uses report from all methods and computes the compliance proportionally for all methods. If you have 3 directives, for example, 1 error and 2 compliance, you will have 66% of compliance. The two new methods of reporting are the focus on one child report and the worst report. The focus on one child method report, if you have a method that is more important in your block, or you want to focus on a method in your block, then you have the capacity to tell the block to do the reporting just on this method. You can choose directly from the GUI which method you will use for your reporting. You also can choose the worst report. You have two sub-choice for it, or you count the whole block as one report and you get the worst outcome of it to give it, and you give it the weight of a single method. It sounds complicated like this, but in fact, it's just if you have three methods, and two which are compliant and one which is in error, then you will have the worst outcome, so the error with a weight of 1 in your global compliance score. And the other possibility is to have the weight of the number of methods in the block. So it just show you, it will be more speakful. So if you can see my screen, this is a new login page for the 7.0. Then this is the dashboard for your compliance score. And if we go to the techniques, you have the hierarchical view on the left panel. And as you can see at the bottom, you now have a folder with the draft. If I create a new technique, it will automatically appear in the draft. This is the unnamed techniques here. I can give it a name. Then if I save it, it will just go in the user techniques menu. So you can do your work, go to the directive menu, find parameters. And once you have finished to work on your technique, you can save it and it will appear in the user techniques folder. As I said, we uniformize all the pages to have the same template, the same design. So on directive and rules menu, you also have the hierarchical visualization. Let's talk about the block. So the block feature, here we have a technique with two blocks. The first one is for the installation of a package, which has 3 methods in it. And the other one is for configuration of a package. If I choose a method, then, as I said, in the reporting tab on the right, you have a checkbox which can be checked or unchecked to enable or disable the reporting. If I go on the reporting of the block, then I can choose the reporting method for the whole block. The classic reporting method is the weighted sum of report. So actually, in the 6.2, when you are creating method and you're checking your compliance, it's this method that is used for your compliance scoring. But now you have two other choices. The first one is the focus on white shine method. So I can target all my compliance score on one method in the block, or the worst report. I will focus on the worst outcome of a method in the block and give it a weight of 1. It's the first sub-choice, or a weight of the number of methods. So that's all for the blocks. And as you can see, it gives a better representation of all your work. You can just click on the block you want to work on, and then you can hide it and then unfold it. Another expected feature is Rudder-long. Because sometimes you have to get your hand dirty, and sometimes writing is faster. When you do sketch, you do it on a workbook, for example, it's faster than doing on a computer, on a GUI, I don't know. So, and if you want to go deep as well in the tool, in the software, we have developed Rudder-long. It's a dedicated syntax language to develop your own technique in Rudder. It also gives the opportunity to import and export them easily. And this is an abstraction layer that will work whatever your platform is underneath. If you, I'm on the bad screen, yes. If you look at the scheme, you will see there is 4 Rudder-RD file. This is file for techniques in Rudder-long. We have our own compilator, which is Rudder-C, Rudder compilator, and we'll convert those files into JSON techniques which are readable by this Rudder server. And whatever is your platform after, all those techniques written in Rudder-long will be compatible with. So user can write their own .rd file, and this is executed on nodes by the agent. And because for us open source is also sharing, this will simplify the sharing of techniques between members of our community. We can imagine in the near future a marketplace where it will be possible to exchange your techniques. I will talk about it later, but we are already converting all our CIS roles into Rudder-long. And we are still actively developing this feature, so stay tuned. For the details, how is a Rudder-long file? How is it? How is it written? How do you write a Rudder-long file? If you want to check a package is present, then you can create a new folder in your repository, in your Rudder configuration repository. And then you will give it a folder with a version, and your RD file, which is the techniques you will write in it in Rudder-long. If you look at the first line of the RD file, this is the metadata. All those lines will be interpreted by your compilator. This is the line with an at the beginning. If you look after, at the bottom, you have the content of your RD file, of your Rudder-long file. If you look at the last line, the package vim present will check if the package is present on your node. We'll give it more details soon in the blog, in the blog post on our documentation. Another thing we change, which is a bit under the hood, each policies and each configuration policies are now backed and saved at any point into Rudder. With this feature, you will be able to restore any configuration policies that has been deployed on a node at any time. For us, this is the first step for a rollout functionality and progressive update, as multiple nodes will need different configuration policies deployed at the same time. So different nodes will need to be in different configuration states at the same time. That's why we need to be able to back up all the state, all the configuration policies at a time. We add also new system integration. Now Rudder is fully compliant with Alma Linux, Rocky Linux, and Oracle Linux. They are officially supported. For the software side, now JS is embedded in the agent, so there is no more dependencies with the outside. And we add a Prometheus endpoint in our RelayD component, so you can retrieve statistics directly from the component. We also simplified the PostgreSQL database connection. Other stuff we changed, small change can do big. This is the communication port that are now configurable between the agent and the server, the Rudder server. Before, it was the port 4043 and another port, I don't remember the number, and they were not configurable. So now you can configure whatever port you want to use with your agent and your server between them. We also enhanced the security with mandatory HTTPS certificate verification in the communication between the agent and the server. System techniques has been refactored, so they have been rewritten to be more performant. We also enhance the compliance computation on the server. It's 10 times more efficient than before. And for the Rudder server, now we are compatible with Debian 11. Another thing is that we have created Ansible playbooks for Rudder agents relays on server deployment. They are already available in the Ansible galaxies. So what's next now? So 7.0 is out, but we are already planning about 7.1. In 7.1, our most important feature for us is the patch management. We are actively developing the patch management to give the list of packages installed with an indication on the latest packages available directly from the GUI. So you will know if your packages are up to date or not directly in Rudder. You will also have a trigger button to trigger the update of the packages if you want to update them. So those features will be as well available from the API. So you will be able to create a script to get the list of nodes with deprecated package, for example, and trigger an upgrade. For the CVE, we are constantly improving security management and particularly CVE. You will be able to do CVE remediation directly from the GUI. So if a package is vulnerable, as flaws, then you can choose to update it and remediate. We also developed a Rudder authentication backend with single sign-on and OAuth and OpenID Connect method. We will be compliant soon. Later this year, now that Rudder-long is out, we plan to write all the CIS rules in Rudder-long. When we will finish to write all the rules in Rudder-long, we will be able to import all the rules directly in Rudder server and choose which rules you want to implement, depending on your security policies in your company. If you want to have a very strong hardening on your machine, you will be able to choose the CIS rules as you prefer. If you want just a light hardening, then you can choose whatever you want in the CIS rule. Also, we plan to develop Ansible integration inside Rudder. We want to be able to execute Ansible playbook from Rudder, directly from Rudder. My screen just turned off. Okay. So, I think my screen is not working anymore.
We do see what you're sharing. I do see the what's next.
Yeah, but I'm trying to go to the next slides. But as my screen turned off, I think it's not working.
Ah.
Sorry for that. I just have to share again my screen. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. The time I'm going to repair this.
You want me to share it? It works.
Mhm.
I've been sharing it if you want to use it.
Perfect. Thank you. So yes, how to upgrade your server relays and agent. Actually, it's simple. You just have to change the repository on your package manager to target the new 7.0 repository. If you are a customer, then you have to fill in your login and password. If you are a community user, then you don't have to. Then you launch the package manager upgrade. If you are using apt, you use apt. If you are using yum, you use yum. This will upgrade the servers and packages. You repeat the same steps for relays and agent. We prefer you upgrade first the servers, the relays, and then the nodes. But anyway, as you will not upgrade every servers at the same time, you can do a progressive upgrade because our agent are fully 6.2 agents can communicate with 7.0 relays and 7.0 servers. For the Windows agent, then you just need to replace the executable and launch it with the policy server's parameters. We provide all of our documentation online on our website and the release note as well. We also are available for the community edition on chat.rudder.io. Or if you are a customer, you can ask us directly on iTop or by phone or email. Now that 7.0 is out, the 6.2 is end of life. You will find more information on our website, but there is, for Rudder community, 3 months until the end of the support. 6 months for standard subscription and 9 months for premium subscription. We are also developing a bunch of services around compliance and security management. I will personally be in charge of it. So if you are struggling with Rudder, with configuration policies and so on, then you can ask us. Maybe we can help to deploy it. So this is the end for this session. So I think we can go to the question answer. I heard a lot of beep, so I think there was questions.
So there is one question about exporting tables of nodes. I'm not sure of the meaning of this question.
The node list exporting the node list. Okay.
If there is no way to export nodes within Rudder because nodes are inventories, so they are not configuration. We can only export and import configuration within Rudder, if that's the question. If it's the content of the table that needs to be exported or imported, we don't have a solution to export content of tables. It's a recurring question, so it's on the roadmap. But you can use the API to export data from Rudder. So you are everything that's available in Rudder can be exported with the API, so you can use it to get the list of nodes, if that's your question. Okay, that was the question.
Okay, no more questions. I think you already answered all of them. I see I need to share the link.
Yes, I answered.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes.
all the other.
Okay, so thank you guys for participating. I hope you enjoyed this session. I'm sorry for my bad English. It's my first time I'm doing a webinar in English for Rudder, so be indulgent, be kinder. And don't hesitate to tell us if you enjoyed it in the chat, and we expect to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.